اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم ربنا آتنا فی الدنیا حسنۃ وفی الآخرۃ حسنۃ وقنا عذاب النار صلوات اللہم علی محمد وآل محمد بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم عن جابر بن عبداللہ انصاری عن فاطمۃ الزہرا علیہ السلام بنت رسول اللہ قال سمعت فاطمۃ ان خالت دخل على ابی رسول اللہ فی بعض الایام فقال السلام علیک یا فاطمۃ فقلت علیک السلام قال انی اجد فی بدنی ضعفا فقلت له ایذک باللہ یا ابتاہ من ضعفی فقال یا فاطمۃ ایتینی بالکساء الیمانی فغطینی بہ فاتیتہ بالکساء الیمانی فغطیتہ بہ وصرت انظر الیہ واذ وجهه یتللو کان بدر فی لیلۃ تمامہ وکمال فما كانت الا ساعة واذا بی ولد الحسن قد اقبل فقال السلام علیک یا اماه فقلت وعلیک السلام یا قرۃ عینی وثمرۃ فؤادی فقال یا اماه انی اشم عندک رائحة طیبة کأن رائحة جدی رسول اللہ فقلت نعم ان جدک تحت الکساء فاقبل الحسن نحو الکساء وقال السلام علیک یا جداہ یا رسول اللہ اتذن لی ان ادخل معک تحت الکساء قال وعلیک السلام یا ولدی و یا صاحب حوضی قد اذنت لک فدخل معه تحت الکساء فما كانت الا ساعة واذا بی ولد الحسین قد اقبل وقال السلام علیک یا اماه فقلت وعلیک السلام یا ولدی و یا قرۃ عینی وثمرۃ فؤادی فقال لی یا اماه انی اشم عندک رائحة طیبة کأن رائحة جدی رسول اللہ فقلت نعم انک جدک و اخاک تحت الکساء فدنی الحسین نحو الکساء وقال السلام علیک یا جداہ السلام علیک یا من اختار اللہ اتذن لی ان ادخل معکما تحت الکساء فقال وعلیک السلام یا ولدی و یا شافع امتی قد اذنت لک فدخل معہما تحت الکساء فاقبل عند ذلك ابو الحسن علی بن ابی طالب وقال السلام علیک یا بنت رسول اللہ فقلت وعلیک السلام یا ابو الحسن و یا امیر المؤمنین فقال یا فاطمۃ انی اشم عندک رائحة طیبة کأن رائحة اخی و ابن ام رسول اللہ فقلت نعم ہا ہوا ما ولدیک تحت الکساء فاقبل علیہم نحو الکساء وقال السلام علیک یا رسول اللہ اتذن لی ان اکون معکم تحت الکساء قال له وعلیک السلام یا اخی و یا وسی و خلیفتی و صاحب لوائی قد اذنت لک فدخل علیہ تحت الکساء ثم آتیت نحو الکساء وقلت السلام علیک یا ابتاہ یا رسول اللہ اتذن لی ان اکون معکم تحت الکساء وقال علیک السلام یا بنتی یا بسعتی قد اذنت لک فدخلت تحت الکساء فلما اکتملنا جمیعا تحت الکساء اخذ ابی رسول اللہ بطرف الکساء و امی بیدہ الیمنی الا سماء وقال اللہم انا ہؤلاء اہل بیتی و خاصتی و حامتی لحمہم لحمی و دمہم دمی یولمنی ما یولمنہم و یحزننی ما یحزنہم انا حرب لمن حاربہم وسلم لمن سالمہم و عدو لمن عداہم و محب لمن احبہم انہم منی وانا منہم فجعل صلواتک و برکاتک و رحمتک و غفرانک و رضوانک علی و علیہم و اذہب عنہم الرجس و طہرہم تطہیرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال الله عز وجل ويا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبتي هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال أمين جبرائيل يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيتي ونبوتي ما أدني رسالتي هم فاطمة وأبوها وبهلها وبنوها صلوات محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لا أكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين الجبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يخرك السلام يخسك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدية ولا خمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أميني وهي لله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لي أبي إن الله قد أوحي إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل بيتي ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لا أبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من فضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذين بأسني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جميع من شيعتنا ومحبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلا أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذن ولله فزنا وفز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بأسني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محافل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جميعا من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا فرج الله هما ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقالوا عليه السلام إذا ولله فزنا وسئدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فزوا وسئدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة صلوات محمد وآل محمد بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات محمد وآل محمد. ملتمس ہوں عباس زیدی کا کہ اپنا نذرانہ عقیدت پیش کریں. بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات.
بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات. شکریہ جی شکریہ. بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات. چند اشعار جناب سیدہ کی شان میں عرض کروں گا، ایک دفعہ مل کے بآواز بلند نعرے صلوات۔ تیری چوکھٹ ہے کہ قرآن کا قبلہ زہرا، تیری چوکھٹ ہے کہ قرآن کا قبلہ زہرا، آیتیں کرتی ہیں آ کر تجھے سجدہ زہرا، یہ جو مریم کو لقب مل گیا معصومہ کا، یہ جو مریم کو لقب مل گیا معصومہ کا، ان کے ماتھے پہ تیرا نام لکھا تھا زہرا، ان کے ماتھے پہ تیرا نام لکھا تھا زہرا۔ اور شعر بطور خاص، چہرہ حیدر کا عبادت ہے زمانے کے لیے، چہرہ حیدر کا عبادت ہے زمانے کے لیے، اور حیدر کی عبادت تیرا چہرہ زہرا، اور حیدر کی عبادت تیرا چہرہ زہرا، معجزے نبیوں نے دکھلائے عمل سے لیکن معجزے نبیوں نے دکھلائے عمل سے لیکن یہاں کافی ہے فقط تیرا اشارہ زہرا، یہاں کافی ہے فقط تیرا اشارہ زہرا، خود خدا کرتا ہے تب اپنی خدائی پہ غرور، خود خدا کرتا ہے تب اپنی خدائی پہ غرور، جب بھی کرتی ہے ادا تو کوئی سجدہ زہرا، جب بھی کرتی ہے ادا تو کوئی سجدہ زہرا۔ بار دیگر نعرے صلوات۔ وقت ہے ایک دفعہ مل کے بآواز بلند نعرے صلوات۔ امام حسین کی شان میں چند اشعار سماعت فرما لیں، باواز بلند نعرے صلوات۔ حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ، کچھ آنسوؤں کے عوض کائنات لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ، یہ کربلا ہے یہ معجزے نما کی بستی ہے، یہ کربلا ہے یہ معجز نما کی بستی ہے، رے کفن میں اس کے لپیٹو حیات لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ، نہیں کروں گا لغد میں انتظار سحر، نہیں کروں گا لغد میں انتظار سحر، ارے فرشتوں کرب و بلا راتوں رات لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ، اور تمام ماتمیوں کی نظر یہ شعر ہے۔ قسم حسین کی پرسے میں کم ہی لگتا ہے، قسم حسین کی پرسے میں کم ہی لگتا ہے، رے بلند جتنا بھی ماتم میں ہاتھ لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ، کہیں گی فاطمہ وقت ظہور میں ہے دی سے، کہیں گی فاطمہ وقت ظہور مہدی سے، لڑائی کے لیے غازی کو ساتھ لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ۔ آخری شعر سماعت فرما لیں۔ کہیں گے ماتمی حلقوں سے لوگ محشر میں، کہیں گے ماتمی حلقوں سے لوگ محشر میں، رے ہمیں حسین، رے ہمیں حسین کی کہیں گے ماتمی حلقوں سے لوگ محشر میں، رے کہیں گے ماتمی حلقوں سے لوگ محشر میں، ہمیں حسین کی جنت میں ساتھ لے جاؤ، کچھ آنسوؤں کے وجہ کائنات لے جاؤ، حسین بانٹ رہے ہیں نجات لے جاؤ۔ بار دیگر نعرے صلوات۔
آصف رضا صاحب سے کہ وہ اپنے نذرانے کی عقیدت پیش کریں اور محمد وال محمد صلوات۔ بارے دیگر نعرہ صلوات۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ ہر دور کے نقیب ہیں قرآن و اہل بیت، ہر دور کے نقیب ہیں قرآن و اہل بیت، اللہ کے قریب ہیں قرآن و اہل بیت، انسان کا نصیب ہیں قرآن و اہل بیت، اللہ کے قریب ہیں قرآن و اہل بیت محبوب کے حبیب ہیں. قرآن اہل بیت حق اہل بیت کا ہے. خدا کی کتاب پر حق اہل بیت کا ہے. خدا کی کتاب پر لاکھوں درود والے رسالت محب پر ہر دور کے نقیب ہیں. صلوات محمد والے محمد.
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد.
شاباش. مریم سے بھی بطول کو رتبہ سوا ملا. مریم سے بھی بطول کو رتبہ سوا ملا. بابا اسے رسول صاحب خیر الورا ملا. بیٹا ہر ایک شہید رہے کبریا ملا. شوہر ملا تو خلق کا عقدہ کشا ملا. ہر ایک اپنے مرتبے میں انتخاب ہے. ہر ایک اپنے مرتبے میں انتخاب ہے. زہرا ہے بے مثال علی لاجواب ہے. مریم سے بھی بطول کو صلوات محمد علیہ.
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد.
فاتحہ. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمدللہ. اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد. مرثیہ جو میں پیش کر رہا ہوں میں کراچی کے شاعر اہل بیت نوجوان ندیم نقوی کا یہ مرثیہ کسی کتاب میں ابھی فی الحال نہیں ہے، لیکن انشاءاللہ جب ان کا آئے گا مجموعہ کلام مرثیوں کا تو اس میں مرثیہ ضرور رہے گا. ایک ہدیہ صلوات عطا فرمائیے گا.
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد.
باد رسول زہرا پہ کیا کیا ستم ہوئے. باد رسول زہرا پہ کیا کیا ستم ماشاءاللہ. ٹوٹے وہ غم کے شیر خدا غم سے خم ہوئے. ٹوٹے وہ غم کے شیر خدا غم سے خم ہوئے حسنین کم صدی میں اسیر علم ہوئے دامان اہل عرش بھی اشکوں سے نم ہوئے غم سے برا ہے حال جناب بطول کا کاندھوں کا منتظر ہے جنازہ رسول کا مغموم مرتضیٰ ہے تو مغموم فاطمہ میراث مصطفیٰ سے ہیں محروم فاطمہ حاکم ستم شیار ہے محکوم فاطمہ حق مانگنے کو آئی ہے مظلوم فاطمہ حق مانگنے کو آئی ہے مظلوم فاطمہ دربار میں نہ سمجھو سوالی بطول ہے باغ بہشت بانٹنے والی بطول ہے ناگاہ ایک شور قیامت بپا ہوا بیت علی میں نرغے اہل جفا ہوا ہاتھوں میں آگ تھامے تھا ظالم کھڑا ہوا دروازہ شہزادی کا خونی قبا ہوا دروازہ شہزادی کا خونی قبا یکسر رخ حیات کا نقشہ بدل گیا محسن شہید ہو گئے دروازہ جل گیا حیدر پکارے زینب و کلثوم ہو کا حسنین آؤ ہوتی ہے رخصت تمہاری ماں ٹوٹا وہ غم حرم سے نکلتی ہے میری جاں آؤ قریب ماں کے کرو حال دل بیاں آؤ قریب ماں کے کرو حال دل بولے حسین بابا نہ جاؤں گا میں قریب اماں مجھے بلائے تو آؤں گا میں قریب ٹوٹے یہ سن کے بندے کفن ہاتھ واہ ہوئے آواز آئی لال میرے کیوں خفا آؤ گلے ہمارے لگو ہم جدا ارمان سارے قلب کے پوچھو نہ کیا ہوئے ارمان سارے قلب کے پوچھو نہ کیا ایسا لگا ندیم کے لمحے سمٹ گئے بڑھ کر حسین ماں کے گلے سے لپٹ گئے. ایسا لگا ندیم کے لمحے سمٹ گئے بڑھ کر حسین ماں کے گلے سے لپٹ گئے بڑھ کر حسین ماں کے گلے سے لپٹ گئے باد رسول زہرا پہ. تو بات سے دعا
آواز بلند آ رہا ہے سلوا. To request Moulana Mirza Abbas to begin today's Fazal Ahl-e alayhi salam. The topic of today's Majlis is the life of Bibi Fatima before the death of the Prophet Muhammad.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد للہ اولہ بلا اول کان قبلہ وآخرہ بلا آخر یکون بعدہ الذی قصرت عن رؤیتہ ابصار الناظرین وعجزت عن نعتہ اوہام الواصفین. ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم وغاصب حقوقهم ومنكر فضائلهم ومناقبهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. وقال الإمام باقر عليه السلام في زيارة فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها: يا ممتحنة امتحانك الله الذي خلقك قبل أن يخلقك فوجدك لما امتحانك صابرا. The ziyarat of Siddiqa Kubra Fatima Zahra Salam Allah Alayha, which comes from the fifth Imam, in which he recites that Ya Mumtahanak, the one who had been tested even before she was born, and she was found to be in this test somebody who was sabir, somebody who was enduring patience. So as the topic of today is in regards to the life of Siddiqa Kubra before the shahadat of the Prophet, I would rather say that let's look at the life of Siddiqa Kubra even before the birth of her, because there are 42 narrations in Biharul Anwar in regards to the Khilqat-e-Nuri, the illuminating creation, the creation of this light, which is the light of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad before this creation. Now, some may point out to in regards to the sanad of this ziyarat of Siddiqa Kubra, as these days it seems to be a fashion to discuss about this is weak, that is weak, everything weak, close the door, go home. This is what, the norm and the mode and the fashion of today is. Oh, this riwayat is weak, that Ziyarat Ashura is weak, this part of Ziyarat Ashura is weak, that part is like this part. This Maqtal of Imam Hussain, you speak about this happened, that happened, Mehndi happened, not happened, what happened? Okay, nothing happened, go home. That's what they want, right? Well, when you look at from an academic point of view in regards to this sanad, yes, you may find a couple of people who are majhul, which means unknown in the chain of riwayat. But this doesn't make the ziyarat weak, because the concept, because the meaning that sits within it indicates towards the authenticity of it. Yes, this riwayat is, this ziyarat, it comes in, the book of Sheikh Tusi, in Misbah, in Tahzeeb, in Usul Kafi. All of these are good and well accepted and authentic book on the outward level, on the surface level. However, these days, some people wants to get into some sort of academic and intellectual discussion and want to look at the importance of this riwayat and the sanad, and this we can use some terminologies to impress, and then that's it. Right? But the point is that, okay, you may be, and then create a doubt. If somebody comes, a sheikh or a sayyid or a Moulana or whatever says, oh, this is weak. Well, I am a lay person who is listening. Somebody says that this is weak, oh, this will create doubt in me. And then, they'll say, oh, all of these things are weak, it's your cultural thing or this and that and the other. No. On the outward level, it may look like that. Okay, fine. Let's look at on a deeper level. If you really want to discuss, to inform them of this as well, that yes, there are riwayat that maybe in Usul Kafi, which we may, when we hear these names, we say, oh, this is a very authentic book. Well, excuse me not. In Usul Kafi, we do have riwayat in which says that there's 40 juz of the Quran, but we don't believe in that. This is riwayat in Usul Kafi, and this is used by some of the Ahl Tasannun, saying that, oh, see, you Shias have different Quran. No, we don't have different Quran. It's the same Quran, 30 juz. Well, in your Usul Kafi book, it says there is 30, there is 40 juz, and the 10 juz was eaten by the goat of the wife of the Prophet Aisha, for example. Well, yes, that riwayat is there, but that doesn't mean that if it's it's in your authentic book of Usul Kafi. Yes, it's in the authentic book by Kulaini, it's there. However, we criticize this riwayat. However, we look at the sanad of it and the importance of it and the contents of and the context of this riwayat, of this tradition, of this narration, whether that befits with other authentic narrations that are there, which are from the Imams, where indicates or which points in the direction, well, it is only one Quran, it has been protected by God. Okay, so now, yes, you may say that Ziyarat Ashura or any other people who are, more likely to criticize of our practices, our tradition and our culture, so that nothing remains in deen as such. If somebody says, oh, what is this marsiya, what is this salam, so, this is only speech. No. The marsiya khani, Allama Tabatabai, the Sahib of Tafsir of Mizan, he says, I will exchange what I have done in my life in terms of writing of Tafsir of Quran, in terms of writing of many books, in terms of my teachings and training students in spirituality, in fiqh, in usul, in falsafa. I will exchange what I have received to what? To one marsiya khani, to one recitation of a marsiya, of a person. Because he understands the importance of this. Because he knows what is the haqiqat of this. It's not something just cultural or this and this poetry, that poetry, no. where the 8th Imam, he himself, he gives the Abba of himself to Debal, who recites poetry in the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Right? So he knows the value of it. So what the trend today, or the present postmodern period norm, is that to give less value to these cultural, valuable, artistic things, so that the essence kind of, fades away, dies, finishes away. Nothing remains. And on the other hand, on the contrary, we have seen traditional scholars, ulama, who were strong. They were champions in spirituality. And they were emphasizing the importance of azadari, of majalis, of marsiya khani, of matam, and sitting on the farsh, on the ground of Azhar Baba Abdullah. There was a person who was a famous reciter, I've forgotten his name. However, the moral of the story is this, that he was famous reciter of majalis. So one old lady, she comes and she says, please, Majlis, recite in my house of Imam Hussain. But he was so busy, he just wanted to, avoid, but he said, Majlis of Imam Hussain. Then he said, okay, fine, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is usually the resting time. Either the majalis is in the morning till Zohar, and then there's people rest, eat, and then in the evening. So I'll give you 2 o'clock. So he gave 2 o'clock. And then after that, on the afternoon of 9th, which is Tasua, which is 9th, because he said, oh, evening there's a big program, it's Shab-e Ashur, I will be busy, and he forgot. He said, I will better go and rest a bit, and then I will go in the evening. So after prayers, he went home, and he wanted to have food, and he rested, he lied down, and then he dozed off, and he saw Siddiqa Kubra Fatima Zahra. And when he saw Bibi Fatima, he says, where have you been? Why haven't you come to the Majlis? 2 o'clock, in the afternoon. He wakes up, and he runs. And he realizes this old lady, and there were only 3 or 4 ladies who will be in the house, right, to having the majlis. It's a house majlis, right? And this old lady will come outside the alley, wait for the Moulana, for the Sheikh to come. And then she was waiting, and said, where have you been? Fatima Zahra is waiting inside. He says that I am a scholar and a Moulana who could only see Fatima in the dream. This lady, because of purity and sincerity, could see Fatima alive in the majlis. This is sincerity. And in every majlis of where zikr of Hussein and Musibat of Abdullah Hussein, Siddiqa Kubra Fatima Zahra is present there. She is there. And imagine, these are the majalis, this majlis is for her. So in this majlis is all of the Masumin. The Jad, the Prophet himself will be present, will have special, focus towards these majalis of Ayyam-e-Fatimiya. There was this person, once again, I'm sorry, I haven't really started my mawzu, but it's important as a premise. There was this person, there are 2 dates of the martyrdom. One is 70 days, one is 91 days of Siddiq Kubra. We do 2 Fatimiyas. So this person, he did his research, riwayat, authentic, non-authentic, which date is it? 71 is correct, after days of which is the first Fatimiya, and this is the second Fatimiya. Which is the correct one? Oh, some riwayat says that when, Amirul Mu'mineen, it was very dark, because that one is 13th, that one is full moon, But the riwayat says it was very dark, and the moon was the shape of a branch of a palm, date palm, which is like a new moon, which is the 3rd of Jamadi, which is this one, right? So this riwayat is more authentic than that riwayat. It was a dark night, and so on and so. So he was doing research, in order to have only one Fatimiya. Okay. Then he had a dream in which he was informed that was the Masaib of Bibi Fatima less? That you just want to dedicate the Fatimiya one day where Bibi herself has said, Subbat al Masaib, the Masaib that fell upon me. If these Masaib would have fallen on the day would have turned into dark nights. These were the Masaib of Allah. The Masa'ib was so that where Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen, he himself says, I'm embarrassed in front of my children. The Masa'ib, as the sixth Imam says, of Bibi Fatima was the most bitter of all. No doubt, he says, the greatest of musibah is the musibat of Ashura. No doubt. Azamul musibah. Fis samawat wal ard, we recite in Ziyarat. But, he says, he adds, but the most bitter of all musibah was the musibat of Bibi Fatima for us. You know why? Because in the Masa'ib of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when on the day of Ashura, when Hussein had no strength in the body, his last few minutes of Hussein, he's on the ground, he's a bloodbath. Everybody is saying, who is there to release Hussein from this? Nobody dare going near Hussein, because every person was going near him, his hands were shivering, because Hussein would look into the eyes of the killer and they will run away by throwing the dagger. And they say, let's see whether Hussein is alive or not, because he's on the ground, he's not moving. Somebody said, attack the tents. As soon as the tents were being attacked, they were heading towards Hussein in his weakness. He wakes up, he says, oh, Shi'ayan of Abu Sufyan, till I'm alive, if you don't have deen, be at least free. Why are you attacking the women and children? Till I'm alive, don't do that. Then they came back. But here, Imam Sadiq says the greatest Mazloom is the one whose wife is disrespected in front of him, but he cannot do anything. That is Ali. The woman, the lady was attacked while Ali was still there. This is the most bitter Masa'ib of all Masa'ib of Bibi Fatima. Right. So he had this dream, he said, oh, two Fatimiyya, so what? Let there be two Fatimiyya. So that's why we have this tradition of having two Fatimiyya. Right. Then he stopped his tahqiq, his research, he says, okay. So it's been the trend, it's been the culture that we always have two Fatimiyya, the first Fatimiyya and the second Fatimiyya. And why not be the case? Now I'm going towards our mawdu, our topic that we have decided. Why not be the case? Who was Fatima? Wama adraka ma Fatima. As we say, Wama adraka ma Laylatul Qadr. Who was Fatima? Right? As there is a tradition which says, which I mentioned last time when I was here, thank you very much once again for the Mu'mineen, for giving me the honor to be here to serve, to do the zikr of Masa'ib of Bibi Fatima and have their marifat a bit. Even if all years, if we speak every night, and I'm pretty sure that I will be able to find something to discuss about Bibi Fatima, still it is less. If one wants to dedicate every night, let's speak about Bibi. We can speak about Bibi and different parts of, and different level of her manaviya and spirituality and of her life. I mean, in this little life of 18 years, and 18 years plus, most of the life was behind the veil. She wasn't like present outside as such, where she even walks away when a blind man comes. And the father says, well, he's blind, but I can see him. She protects herself, she leaves. We'll discuss about what is this riwayat later on. Why is she doing that? Right? And it is only these khutabat, few sermons, and few things that we have learned from the riwayat that points out to her personality, that who she was. Nobody really recognized who she is. The titles that she has, right? So what I'm saying is that even if be so, that we discuss every night, still we will be unable to comprehend. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا فَاتِمَةٌ لَوْلَاكَ لِمَا خَلَقْتُ الْأَفْلَاكَ. Hadith Qudsi. This is called Hadith Qudsi. Hadith Qudsi means directly coming from Allah. It's not Wahi, which is the Quran, but there's a There's hadith, which is known as in the categorization of hadith. There are different types of hadith. One of the hadith is known as hadith Qudsi, which comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet. Right? Because there are different modes of connection and communication of humans to God. There are certain inspirations that we all also have. Some sort of, comes from Allah, and we do it and we realize that yes, it was something really good. That our conscience from inside tells us, right, I shouldn't be doing this, or I should be doing this. If somebody elderly walks, I just wake up, stand up, give my seat. We are going in train, tube, somewhere, we see somebody old, we stand up. Who is telling us? This is inside our conscience. Where is it coming from? It's coming from me? No, it's coming from Allah. Right? Everything comes from Him. He is guiding us. He guides us. And we take that and we, give that, right. So different modes of communication, from Allah's side to us, and there are different modes of communication from our side to Allah, right. Dua is one of the ways of communicating, right. We recite this dua, that dua, by which we connect, by which we communicate to God. Our salat is a type of communication. We speak to Allah and connect. And regular du'as itself, our own way, we speak to Allah in English or Urdu or Farsi, Arabic, whatever, in our own way we connect and we speak. And this is very powerful. Always speak to Him directly. Always. If you wake up now, these nights are a bit longer these days, Fajr is like, 6:15, 6:14 up north, right? We sleep early as well, it gets dark early. So naturally you wake up. Bahjat used to say, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you are very lucky. Allah have woken you up to speak to Him. Don't just go to sleep. At least recite salawat. At least recite Surah Fatiha for your marhumeen. Maybe they want something from you, right? This is from Allah. Allah is the one who, the ayah of the Quran is there, right? When you go to sleep, Allah is the one who takes away the arwah, the nafs, your soul, part of your soul is taken away. And when you wake up, soul is given back. So when it's been taken away by Allah and it's been given back by Allah, so Allah is giving it back for a reason. Don't just turn your, side and go back to sleep. If you can wake up, well and good, pray 2 rakat prayer, still you have time, then go to sleep. Or if you just wake up as well, do some zikr, recite some salawat, and then go back to sleep. So much reward. Allama Tawatabai says, one salawat, you have no idea what type of nur it creates to the marhumeen in the barzakh. So therefore, this is a mode. So we communicate with our own language, speak to Him directly. That's the best way of speaking. And He loves it, right? Now, from Allah as well is right, different ways, inspiration, dreams, wahi when it comes to the Prophet. And among the Prophets as well, there are different levels of wahi. I mean, though I haven't seen or any riwayat or anything that connects or that says that Jibreel used to come to Prophet, Musa alayhi salam. Because there are different levels of communication. Jibreel is the archangel. That came to who? To Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because he has of that caliber. He has that capacity. He has that heart. Alam nashra laka sadrak wa wadana anka wizrak wa anqada dahrak wa rafa'na laka dhikrak. Right? Alam nashra laka sadrak. The heart was expanded for the Prophet, for that wahi, for that revelation to descend, right? And Jibreel used to bring that wahi. That's why Imam Khomeini here, just to mention here in regards to Siddiqa Kubra, after the demise of the Prophet, Jibreel used to attend to Siddiqa Kubra, to Fatima Zahra. Jibreel would come. Jibreel who haven't gone to Ulul Azam Payghambar, to the Ulul Azam Prophet except the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would come to who? Come to Fatima. This, Imam Khomeini says, I'm perplexed. Try to calculate who was she? That Jibreel who would not attend. And now it's not only Imam Khomeini. This riwayat that Jibreel would come in Ayyam-e-Fatimiya, which is with Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, right? Not Jibreel. Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, who is a Shaykh al-Akbar among the Sufi, is a master. He's the greatest Shaykh. Ibn Arabi, who is the compiler, founder of mystical school, right? Great scholar, Arif, right? His book, which is Fusus al-Hikam, one of the book Bezels of Wisdom, it's been translated in English by Titus Burckhardt. If you want to purchase that and read, that's a good text. But it's a very deep text to understand, right? There are other books as well. William Chittick have done Imaginal World, Sufi Path of Love, Sufi Path of Knowledge. Love is by Rumi. Sufi Path of Knowledge, where he discusses the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, which is one of the Meccan openings, of Ibn Arabi. What I was trying to say, that his text is taught in the Hawza in Qom. And Aghay Hassan Zadeh Amali, Imam Khomeini, Aghay Jamadi-ul-Awwal, they have written commentary on this book. In mysticism, after a student studies philosophy for 10, 15 years, then they start teaching Irfan and mysticism, theoretical Irfan, where this text is taught. Ibn Arabi says in one of his Risala that Fatima was someone where Jibreel would attend to her after the demise of the Prophet. So this was a very fascinating, very powerful soul, right? So Hadith Qudsi is what? لَوْلَاكَ لِمَا خَلَقْتُ الْأَفْلَاقَ. Now we are talking about the life of the Fatima before, not even before the demise of the Prophet, but before she was born. If it wasn't for you, O Prophet, the creation wouldn't have been created. It is for you, O Prophet, I have created the creation, because the creation is purposeless. مَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, the ayah of the Quran. I haven't created the heaven and earth except that, the jinn and men, that they worship me. Who is the founder of this worship? Who founded worship? Who is the leader? Who founded this? The principle of ubudiyat, which is servitude. There is ubudiyat and there is ibadat. Ubudiyat is servitude, ibadat is worship. Ibadat can be empty of ubudiyat, and that ibadat is thrown on our face. Wailul lil musallin. The Quran itself says, vow unto those who are worshipping. They are praying salat, but vow unto them, lanat upon them. The Quran is saying. That is ibadat, just outward. It doesn't have ubudiyat. It just have that outward form, and which they call it ibadat. The one who, na'udhu slaughtered, beheaded Imam Hussain, what they said, Allahu Akbar. They were, some of them gave fatwa, hafiz of the Quran, so they all kill Imam Hussain. They were thinking they were ibadat. Ubudiyat is the principle of servitude, that I am abd. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Asra bi abdihi, as the Quran Surah Isra, Asra bi abdihi layl. I call my abd, that's abd. So, lawlak lima khalaqtul aflaq. If it wasn't for you, Rasul, I wouldn't have created the creation. Why? Because you are the founder of ubudiyat. You have founded what ibadat is. Because of you, this creation is there. Otherwise, it's pointless to have creation. Lawla Ali lima khalaqtuk. If it wasn't for Ali or Rasulullah, I wouldn't have created you. Because it is that wilayat, which is the extension of risalat. Because if wilayat is not there, risalat is off, it's ta'til. It will not continue. Rasul is the one who have the responsibility of delivering the message. That is risalat. He is Nabi first, and then Darajah Bala and higher level of Nabi becomes Rasul. That means he's been given the authority that he takes the message and he delivers. Is Rasul. And wilayat is what? And imamat is what? He takes that message and then he grabs the hands of the followers and he makes sure that the followers reach the ubudiyat. That's imamat. Imam will take us. Rasul will show. Imam will take us there. Right? So if wilayat wasn't there, then that message of Rasul, that Quran, would have been lost. And we have clearly seen what happened within few days to the door of Fatima. Within few days, few years, what happened to the grandson of the Prophet, right? So that is that imamat which have kept, that risalat, and that Quran which is Rasul have brought, protected it, right? Then the Hadith Qudsi continues, Lawla Fatima lima khalaqtukuma. If it wasn't for Fatima, I wouldn't have created both of you, because she is the caretaker of risalat and also of wilayat and also of imamat. It wouldn't have extended, not risalat, not wilayat, if she wasn't there. Because it says, the marriage is kuf, means that of the same caliber, same level of spirituality and manaviya must be there. That was Ali and Fatima. Ali Masum, Fatima Masum, the perfect of all marriages. That's why you have the perfect of all children and grandchildren, right? So Fatima is that. And this also points out to, as we are talking about life of Bibi Fatima, the father would call Bibi Fatima because the way she cared for the Prophet. She's so young. Khalid bin Walid's father comes and throws the guts of the camel on the Prophet, of the animals of the Prophet. Abu Lahab and these people, they trouble the Prophet. Fatima will come and clean. She's so young. She's just 5 years, 6 years old. She would clean the Prophet. She will get rid of the wounds that the Prophet had. And then the Prophet calls this young girl, Abiha. You are like my mother. And you are my mother, Abiha, the way you take care of me. Now this taking care of is not just on the outward level, but rather on the deeper level. Because Prophet never utters or says something just based on emotions, the way we speak. Because we become very emotional and we are carried away by our sentiments and emotion. We say, oh, you're my father, your mother, my grandmother. We call everything to our children. But Rasulullah, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. Rasul doesn't utter anything unless wahi comes to Rasul. And Rasul is saying, you are my mother. That means she's the protector. She has that caliber, that level of spirituality, that she's the mother. This points out to that mysterious station of her. That Rasul is saying, you are my mother. That is really fascinating. It's like Isa and Maryam. Maryam is the mother of Isa. Right? And here you have Fatima. You are my mother. Because of you I am here. Right? And at the same time, you have the narration of the 11th Imam. Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam. Where the 11th Imam says, now just in the margin, 11th Imam and the narrations of the 11th Imam are very mysterious. He died very young and he is the last Imam. And the Tashayyu and the Shia, understanding ideology, the Shia Islam, have reached to a stage of maturity where it is capable of understanding what spirituality is, what imamat is. The Shias accepted a 6-year-old Imam and accepted that imamat is the office of God. Otherwise they would say, oh, 6-year-old Imam Jawad, how can he be Imam, 6-year-old baby, young boy. For namaz jamaat, to be an Imam, you have to be baligh. He's a 6-year-old becoming an Imam, how come? Well, Allah have made that Imam, the same way as Isa in the cradle is the Prophet. Allah made it, and we believe in the Quran. So 6-year-old can be Imam. It's the office of Allah. Allah is the one who would make, the Imams. So the maturity of the Shia Islam have reached to a point that it is capable of understanding deeper concepts. It's a gradual sort of development of the intellectual and spiritual understanding. And that's how the Imams trained one after the other. Through training, through teaching, through narrations, and that's how it preserved. Because after 11th Imam, you have a major gap till the reappearance of the Imam soon, and we will join him inshallah, right? So this major gap of minor occultation and major occultation required certain narrations and methodologies provided by the Imams for the Shia Islam to survive up until today. Ziyarat-e-Arba'in is from the 11th Imam. Alamat of a Mu'min are 5. One of them is Ziyarat-e-Arba'in. Where at a time where there was no imagination of ziyarat. But look how today, because 11th Imam emphasizes Alamat of a Mu'min. Look where we have reached today. Because the Shia community, Shia Islam have reached to that state where it could have preserved this riwayat and practice it from that time up until now, and make sure that it reaches here, right? So from a historical, analytical point of view, from the narrations that we have, the life of the 11th Imam is very important. Very young age, 27, he was shaheed, but he managed to the hadith, the dua to be recited on the 3rd of Shaban, the fatrus being cured by the cradle of Hussein, is from 11th Imam. It's a very mysterious concept, and angels being cured by the, just by touching the cradle of Hussein, he was cured. How can the zari of Imam Hussein not cure the amras, right? So this concept, this understanding, this culture, these values of tabarrukat, so on and so forth, Imam Hasan Askari alayhi salam. He has a hadith which says, "Nahnu hujjaj Allah ala khalq." We are the hujjat of Allah on the creation. Hujjat means proof of Allah. If the proof of Allah is not on the earth will eat itself. That's why our 12th Imam, who is hujjat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and is alive. He's alive in the same way, a physical sense, he's alive. Not something spiritual in the 4th heaven like Isa alayhi salam, for example. No. The hujjat of Allah is alive. And it is necessary that the hujjat of Allah be present. Somebody who is a witness, who is shaheed. The ayah of the Quran, one of the proofs of the existence of the 12th Imam is this, that, Isa says, I am shaheed till I am with you. But when I am taken away, Allah is your shaheed. Right? So, therefore, the shahid, the one who is a witness, should be present there. That's why in Surah Yasin also we recite that every ummah will be called by their Imam. So why? Because the Imam is a shaheed. He is witnessing everything. And that Imam should be the one who have that capability to see. Just like how the Prophet, or just like how Isa would say, what have you cooked, I know, in your house. Nothing is hidden from that. That is the Imam. Right? Rasul knows everything. He's the shaheed, he knows. And our Imam also. That's why they say every Thursday night, our amal goes to the Imam of every single individual. The 12th Imam looks what we have done. And for some, it becomes an ointment to his painful heart. Because he's suffering. He is alone. And for some, it becomes more painful for him. This is our Shia, and this is how this person is behaving. It's so sad. Right? One of the things why Imam is not returning is because we are not ready. Right? We are not prepared. We are not ready for the Imam. We fail. Little test we fail. I'll talk about that again. Let's go back to that, riwayat of our 11th Imam. Nahnu hujjaj Allah ila khalqik. We are the hujjat for the creation. Jaddatana, our jadda, our grandmother, which is pointing out to Siddiqa Kubra Fatimatu Zahra, is hujjat for us. for the imam. What is hujjat? What is the purpose of hujjat? Is if hujjat is not there, the earth will eat itself. The earth will be destroyed. There will be no earth. So what is the hujjat for imamat? It's Fatima. It's Fatima to Zahra. If she is not there, the imamat will not be there. And Imam is speaking here from the point of view of imamat, not from the physiological point of view where she is my grandmother, that is why. No. It's talking about hujjat here. It's not talking about Hassan ibn, Hadi or, right? It's talking about hujjat. It's not talking about from a physiological point of view. No. We are hujjat of, from Allah upon the creation. And our jadda is our hujjat. It says imamat, hujjat of imamat, which also includes Amirul Mu'mineen, because he's the first imam, right? So that's her. Her maqam is that. It's unimaginable. Where the Prophet says that, it's a very famous hadith, Badatu minni, she is part of me. Whoever connects to her while she was alive, Prophet will stand up when she comes in respect. Now, this has never become a sunnah of Rasulullah. What is sunnah of Rasul? Pray namaz al-shab. What is sunnah of Rasul? Wear white. What is sunnah of Rasul? He wears amama this way. He brushes teeth. All sunnah. What is sunnah of Rasul? Get up when your daughter comes. No, it's not the sunnah. It's only for Fatima. And he made sure he cleared that. Because of her maqam. She's young. But Prophet will stand up in respect of her. Right? And then he made sure that people know that she's part of me. Even those who are the close companions came to see her after the demise of the Prophet. But she said, no, I'm not gonna. Because she is that, she makes everything clear. Haqq and batil. With clarity. Where is haqq and where is batil? Very clear in that. Giving that message. Right? So, in regards to her, the Prophet would do that. And the Prophet have said that Fatima, ruhi bayna jambay. Fatima points out to his chest, and she's the spirit which resides here, which is here. As we say, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Fatima, and the Quran says, نَحْنُ نَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِ. Allah says that we have blown our spirit into Adam. Rasul is saying, nafsi, Fatima is my nafs, Fatima is my ruh. That's why it says, بِفَاطِمَةَ وَأَبِيهَا وَبَعْلِهَا وَبَنِيهَا, and then what? وَالسِّرُّ الْمُسْتَوْلِيَ فِيهَا. By that secret that resides in Fatima, who she is. It is unimaginable. It is very difficult to comprehend and describe and understand, unless or until deep philosophical, mystical understanding comes about in us, to have some glimpse or understanding of her, who she was. Her being a woman, her being having that femininity, right? The concept of femininity itself is fascinating. It's very powerful. If it wasn't for women, there will be no tarbiyat of our communities. Islam wouldn't be there. Imam Khomeini says, what? Where is your people? They are in the laps of the mother. It is the mother. It is always the sacrifice of the woman, which have protected the community, which have protected Islam in every era, if you look at it. Right? That's why there's a narration in Nahjul Balagha which says that the level of the one who practice iffat, modesty and morality their level is no less than the level of the shuhada, the one who practice modesty and morality. And in the dua of Imam Zaman, which is Allahumma, which says that one of the duas of Imam Zaman, in which we say that we ask, oh Allah, irfan al-hurma wa akrimna bil sabr wa nasiya wa ulama'ana, and then wa nisa'ana bil iffa. We ask Allah in the dua of Imam Zaman that, oh Allah, provide modesty and morality to our women. Although it is for men as well, but why here particularly in regards to women? Because it is this modesty, iffat, purity, sincerity, modesty, and morality is very important when it comes to women. And the postmodern and Western advancement that we see today have misused this, because they know the success, the material success that they would have is by misusing, is by hampering, is by eliminating the modesty and morality of women. Even here the woman had no right till early 19th centuries, 18th century, end of early 1900s, they started having rights and they can inherit and right. And as we all know that how women is used to sell their product, right? Why? Because women have that latafat, which means that's subtle nature. They have that subtle nature, and usually something that is latif, something that is subtle, tends to impact, penetrate, and attract. Smell, fragrance, it's latif, it's very attractive. Fragrance, all of the things, if you philosophize it, if you try to reflect upon it, you will realize that. What are those things which are latif, those things which are subtle, those things which are pure and fine, right, have that element of modesty, morality, and femininity, and they tend to attract a lot. And the Western culture, they have used this from a psychological, philosophical point of view to promote their values. Not Western, I don't want to be a critique as such as in Western, but material culture, material values, right? That's why when you look at it today, the society of today, why it's breaking? Because that morality and that modest values are no longer there in our society. Even it was here. How women used to dress, how there used to be arranged marriages. One of my friend was mentioning earlier that this friend is a revert, that grandmother and grandfather, they never saw each other. They never used to go out till marriage. We are talking about the British culture. This is how it was. There was modesty, morality. But that has been snatched away, taken away. Then the society crumbles. The family values, divorce, so on and so forth. Things to fall apart. And we are seeing that, same values being transferred to those who have role models like Fatima, but they are not taking that, the celebrity culture, so on and so forth. Why? The modesty is taken away, the morality is taken away. Now, don't just look at modesty and morality just on the surface level as hijab. There's modesty and morality in the nafs, within. Some people can be very much modest and moral, but at the same time travel on camels as well. Right? So modesty and morality, something is within, right? So, iffat, modesty and morality. And that's what we find in regards to how she carried herself. She had that iffa, which trained which did the tarbiyat to the children. That morality, that modesty, that taking care of herself, where she becomes the role model for the 12th Imam. There's a hadith from the 12th Imam which says that Fatima is my role model. Because when a soul reaches perfection and Kamal, it contains within it the qualities of Jalal and Jamal of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. It has both of these qualities. You have the Jalal-e-Fatima, Ghazab of Fatima is Ghazab of who? Is the Ghazab of Allah. Allah is the avenger. And look at the Ghazab of Fatima, as the hadith says. Whoever connects to Fatima connects. Whoever disconnects to Fatima disconnects. The Ghazab of Fatima is the Ghazab of Allah. Why? Because she has reached to that perfection and Kamal, where she is manifestating, she is reflecting the Ghazab of Allah. Where she is reflecting, manifestating the mercy of Allah. Fatima is known Fatima, the name title, because Fatima comes from Fatim, which means cut away. That's what Fatim means. She is cut away from what? From the hellfire. And what? She is known Fatima because she will cut away the lovers of Ahlul Bayt from the hellfire. The way how a rooster, how a chicken picks the grains from the dust, that's how she will pick the Shias on the Roze Mahshar, on the Day of Judgment. She will not enter paradise until the Shias enter paradise. So Fatima is been given that title because of Fatim, one say. That she's been cut away from that, and the creation is cut away from knowing who she is. Nobody can have that ma'rifat of who she is. Right? In this young age, even before, as we are talking about before the life, now I'm going to go back to the hadith of the ziyarat as well, but just prior to that, if you look at, for example, the way she was born, Prophet fasted for 40 days, did ibadat for 40 days, and he did a special kind of fast where she separated from Khadija for 40 days. And she asked Khadija to fast for 40 days. And she would do ibadat for 40 days as well. And on the 40th, Prophet was called. After that ibadat, Prophet was called. And when he was called, he reaches to Khana Qabe Khawsain aw Adna. And then he was offered food. And he was offered food, and he was asked to send salam to Khadija when he returns back. So she brings salam from Allah, and the Prophet would say, after those 40 days this was finished, they met, Khadija and Fatima, and then when Fatima was born, whenever the father would kiss Fatima, he said, I smell the fragrance of that fruit which was offered to me. Right? So she was, even before her birth, not just before the life of the Prophet, there are so many, Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. What is this? This is before birth. Right? Allah is speaking to the Prophet, sending the wahi, mentioning that, O Prophet, do not be sad as this person is mocking you, that your sons are dying one after the other, but we will have given you Kawthar. Right? This is before the birth of Fatima. And he was given the glad tidings that even now, I connect this to this riwayat or this ziyarat, which says that, O Fatima, we have tested you before you were born. This is a very mysterious concept. Now this is the essential reality and true understanding of Shia Islam. The belief of ours in Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam as Nur. They have Khilqat Nuri. They are the light of Allah. And the first thing God created is the Muhammadan light. the Nur of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. That's the first thing God created. This is the hardcore belief of our Shia Islam. And we have to transfer this to our children. This is what we believe in. Right? In this ziyarat, it says that, "Oh Fatima, before you were born, we tested you in the previous world. Before we come to this world, we were in the Alam-e-Zar." The Quran talks about it, which is known as the ayah of the Quran, "Qalu bala." Am I not your Lord? Allah asked in that Alam. And we said yes. When we said yes, we came to this world as Muslims, as Shi'i, because Wilayat was asked as well in that Alam. Right? So it's a continuation of our Tashayyu, of our Islam, from that Alam to this Alam. Yes, I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of questions here that may come. We don't have time to attend to those. We can discuss that in our Q&A later on. However, I'm just speaking on the principle level, what the Quran talks about and what we believe in, right? And then we can take it from there further. So, as we were tested in that Alam, we were existed in that Alam-e-Zar, in that previous Alam, right? Previous world of spirits, the world of spirits. The same way the Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, before they came to this world, they were in that world of spirits as well. Because it's a one cycle, or it's a one style of us coming into this world and leaving this world. All creation is like that. Allah created it in this fashion, everything. Even Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, "Wala ana basharun mithlukum yuha ilay." I'm just like a mortal man, just like you. And however, wahi comes to me, the Prophet says. So everything is created in this fashion, right? So now when we are talking about that she has been tested even before she come to this world, we are talking about the creation of her in light, as in light. She was, in that alam, a light, nur, which is nur of Fatima. So now from this nur of Fatima, this descends. Then it comes into this world. It meets that body. It comes, as we were saying, salam was sent by Allah. That fruit in Jannah, Prophet ate and he came back. That nutfa, that, transformation of that light, of that fruit which is spiritual fruit, to this physical world. And she is born in this physical world. So it has a natural process that takes place. Now, the way to understand the test before coming to this world is the best way is the philosophy of Sadra. Mullah Sadra was a great philosopher, 16th century philosopher. We're not going to get into philosophy. I'm just going to try to understand this. I'm going to point it out too, that he talked about from an intellectual, philosophical point of view in regards to existence. And he says all existence is one. There's only one existence. There's no duality. There's only one existence. I'll make it very simple. Like for example, however, there's one existence, however, there are tashkik, which means grades in the existence. Right? Like for example, there's an existence of man. What do you call that? You call that existence. There's an existence of this fan. You call it, there's existence. They're all wujud. You will call all of them wujud. Insan. I am insan, inshallah, you are insan. Everybody is insan. Hopefully. Right? Because Imam Khomeini's teacher, Shahabadi, he would say that, Mullah shudan asan, insan shudan mushkil. He'll say to become a mullah, is easy, although it's not very easy, to be honest. It's a headache. The headache, and then after becoming mullah is twice headache. Mullah shudan asan, insan shudan mushkil. Ayatollah Shahabadi was a great philosopher, Arif. Then Imam Khomeini said, Mullah shudan mushkil, insan shudan mahal. To become a mullah is difficult, and to become an insan is mahal, really. To become a human being, it is impossible, right? That's why you have this famous story of poetry of Rumi. Rumi says, Di Sheikh ba charagh hamin gash dore shah. Last night with a lamp, the Sheikh was looking around the city. As di wada malula mo insana marzus. I'm sick and tired of devils and evil. You know, people outside, they look like human beings, but they are not human beings, right? They are into everything. They are not true human beings. They are, you know, it says, then they said this, Divo da malunam insan was goft, and a voice echoed. It says, Yaftina shawad. You will not find a human being. And the Sheikh goft, Onchiki Yaftina shawad, that you cannot find. That is my hope. That's my arzu. That's my desire. I will keep on looking, you know, for an insan. So insan shudan mahal. So we say insan, inshallah, we are all insan, inshallah. So insan is one concept. It's one, you know, reality. However, there are different types of human beings, right? You know, there's male, there's female, and then within that you have, you know, different race, grades, age, so on and so forth, but they are all insan. You know what I mean? So the same way wujud is as in one wujud. However, there are different grades of it. There's some insan who are very good, you know, good akhlaq, but there are some who are very brutal, you know, very evil, but they are all insan at the same time, but there are grades of it. So the same way, the existence is one. The reality is one. How there are different grades of it. Now when we look at nur, light, you know, light is one, but there are different grades of it. If we look at the sunlight and the effect of it and what it does in different places. In some places it gives life, some places it just gives the heat. There's no light at all, like nighttime right now, there's no light as such. But that sun being there is very important for our existence to be there. You know, without that sun, it will not. So on the same token, the wujud and the existence of Fatima, it's one existence, one nur, but different facets of it. It gives and it provides. And this light, the same way as it's been tested in this world, through different ways, this light descends. When it's descending, they have tests. There are different ways of testing it. Like for example, when the sunlight is reaching, you know, right now we have this pollution. It's kind of like a test for that sunlight to be so strong that it kind of passes that, you know, that it passes through those, you know, impediments and hurdles and whatever is there, and it should fulfill the duty which Allah have given in terms of taking care of humanity, taking care of having life here on this earth. The responsibility of the sun is that it should make sure that it should reach its purpose, and that is giving life to the tiniest, you know, creatures in the ocean, which needs a bit of a light, not a closer light, which they may be destroyed, you know, on different levels, going through different tests through the ocean, through the layers of atmosphere, so on and so forth. It passes that test. It comes to earth, it reaches the earth, right? So the same way Fatima, when it's saying in the ziyarat that we have tested you before, you know, even if you came to this world, because Allah have tested that nur of Fatima. And what did Allah find? We found you as sabira, as somebody who was patient. This is one of the very important qualities, that protruding great quality of Siddiqa Kubra, that she was sabira. And we have to learn from her. One of the qualities, even before the birth of the Prophet, right from the very birth, she lost the mother in the very beginning of her life, right? As we are talking a little bit about the life of Fatima before, let's say Khadija, there was, you know, what do you call, sanctions. Nobody would go to Khadija to meet, to speak, socialize, because they know the Prophet, what's the mission of the Prophet. And then when Prophet would come, Khadija will be smiling, Khadija will not be tired. Fatima, did anybody come? Says, no, this baby in the belly, she recites Quran and she speaks to me. That's Fatima. This is before birth. Even before the Quran have started, she was reciting that. Why? Because of that nur. Quran is coming from the same source. The source is Allah, and its Quran is light. And the Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam are coming from the same source, which is light, which is nur, right? And this will never separate. You know, the Quran and the Ahl Bayt will never separate till they meet us on Kawthar, which is the source again. You know. Now once again this Kawsar, Inna Atayna Kal Kawsar. What is that Kawsar? That perpetual fountain. Isn't it so? Right? So this element of test in the Alam-e-Arwah for her, in that Alam-e-Nur for her, and then in this world as well. And she stands out to be, or she points, she is somebody who was Sabir. And she was. Continuously. Right from the very young age that we find. Till that last minute. Right? Now look at this. When the father said to her, that when father was leaving, when Rasulullah was about to leave this world, and she was very sad. She was very sad. And the father says, "Oh Fatima, I'm leaving you soon," because the Prophet was ill, right? As he was poisoned, as he became shaheed, and he was ill. And Prophet said in her other ear that, "Fatima, you will be the first one to meet me." Then she smiled. Then that made her happy, that she will be joined back with the Prophet. Separated in this world, she will be joined back. And look what they did. The Masaib of Fatima, where she is saying that if these Masaib would have fallen on the day, it would have turned night. When a father dies, what do? You go to the house to give pursa. When you go to the house to give pursa, you will take some food, you will take some flowers. But how they came to the house of Fatima? When they came to the house of Fatima, they were shouting and they were yelling. And they were asking that, "Send Ali to us." Ali was inside the house. And Fatima answered the door. They were fully aware that Fatima is behind the door. And they torched the door. They put the fire onto the door of Fatima. And the door was burning. It was not just that they stopped there when the door was burning and they would have left. No. Actually, when the door was burning, they kicked the door. They threw the door. And this burning door fell on Fatima. As soon as this door fell on Fatima, she said, "Ya Mohsin." It was the shahadat of Mohsin that takes place. And they did not stop here. When they broke the door, when they burned the door, they went inside the house of the Prophet. It is that door, it is that house where the Prophet would stand and would give salams to the door, to the house, to the people inside the house. This was the house of Fatima we are talking about. And as it says in the ayah of the Quran itself, that do not enter the house of the Prophet without seeking permission. It was the only house of the Prophet and Fatima, of Ali ibn Abi Talib, that opened in the Masjid al-Nabawi. All of the other doors were closed. So they entered the door, they entered the house of Fatima without the permission. And they did not stop here. They pulled Ali outside the house. And while they were pulling Ali outside the house, Fatima is on the ground, and the little children, Hassan and Hussein, they were crying. And there is this great Sheikh al-Waizi, who is very famous, who recites the Masaib of Fatima, and he dreams, marhum. He says he saw Fatima in the dream, and he says, "Oh, Sheikh, you do not recite my Masaib." Then the Sheikh says, "Oh, I say, I recite all your Masaib." The Fatima says, "No, that's not my Masaib. My Masaib was Ali was taken away. The little children don't know who to help, whether to help the mother who is on the ground or go and help the father." They were crying. That imagine the 5-year-old, 6-year-old. There is Zainab and Kulsoon, Hassan and Hussein looking at the mother in this state, the burning door, and the father is being pulled away. And here Fatima calls, "Fizza, help me." And the broken ribs, as Ayatollah Wahid Khurasani says, that when your bone breaks, if you move that bone, it hurts you a lot. Imagine that Fatima was breathing for 70 days, 90 days with the broken ribs, every breath she was taking, she was in full of pain. And here with this broken ribs, Fatima rushes towards Masjid al-Nabawi, and it says that she was falling on the ground, and she crawls towards Masjid al-Nabawi, and she says that if you do not leave Ali, I'm going to call the curse of Allah on earth. And here there was an earthquake that takes place. Allah la'natullah ala qawm al-zalimeen sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayyamun qalibin yanqalibun matame Hussein. Hussein, Hussein.
آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، پردہ شب میں میری میت اٹھانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، پسلیاں توڑی گئی کیسے یہ بتلاؤں گی میں، حشر کے میدان میں بھی اس حال میں آؤں گی میں، ہاتھ پہلو سے نہ تم میرا ہٹانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، وہ مصیبت آپ نے اچھا ہوا دیکھی نہیں، اب میں سیدھے ہاتھ سے تسبیح پڑھ سکتی نہیں، ایسا کن فزنے ہے مارا تازیانہ یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، کہتی ہے زینب یہ مجھ سے دیکھ کر چہرہ میرا، آپ کے رخسار پر یہ نیل ہے کیسا پڑا، میں نے کھایا ہے تماچا مت بتانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے زہرا یا علی، تازیانے کی اذیت کا اٹھانا ایک طرف، وہ تماچے قتل محسن در جلانا ایک طرف، سب سے مشکل تھا مگر در بار جانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، جب میری تلقین پڑھنا یاد رکھ لینا ذرا، در کے گرنے سے میرا بازو بھی ہے ٹوٹا ہوا، میرے پہلو کو ذرا دھیرے ہلانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے ہرا یا علی، چاہے آ جائے قیامت مجھ سے یہ وعدہ کرو، جب تلک مولا میرے شبیر کی مرضی نہ ہو، تب تلک میرا جنازہ مت اٹھانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، جب سے آئی ہوں پلٹ کر فکر ہے مجھ کو یہی، میں تو پردے میں گئی پھر بھی ضعیفہ ہو گئی، بیردا دربار ہے زینب کو جانا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، کربلا میں جب میرے شبیر پر خنجر چلے، پیاس کے عالم میں جب غازی کو وہ آواز دے، میں بھی آؤں گی وہاں پر تم بھی آنا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی، آج رخصت ہو رہی ہے تم سے زہرا یا علی۔
جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی، ہے آل عمران کہاں اور زندان کہاں، لے بہن قید ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی، ہے جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی، ہے ہم کو پانی نہ ملے تیری خوشبو تو رہے، تیرے بازو نہ کٹیں چاہے مشکی زاچ دے، کہ مگر ہو نہ سکا تیرے بازو گئے جدا، مجھ پہ ہے تشنا لبی تو نہ آیا غازی، ہے جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی، ہے دھوپ میں تو تھا شجر تجھ سے آباد تھا گھر، ہے برہنہ میرا سر کیا نہیں تجھ کو خبر، اے علمدار وفا اس بہن کو باخدا، تجھ سے ڈھارس تھی بڑی تو نہ آیا غازی، ہے جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی،
اے آ گئی شام علم لٹ گئے اہل غرم ریت پر جلتی ہوئی ہو گیا ٹھنڈا عالم پرسہ دینے کے لیے مجھ سے ملنے کے لیے آ گئے بابا علی تو نہ آیا غازی تو نہ آیا غازی ہے جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی ہے کیا کہوں شیر میرے پیردا غم کو لیے کہ مسلمان سارے شہر در شہر گئے خلقت کوفہ کبھی خلقت شام کبھی بارگاہ ہم پہ ہنسی چون آیا ہے جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا ہے جب چلی شیخ پہ چھری ہے میرے شیر جری ہاتھ ملتی تھی بہن کچھ قدم دور کھڑی کٹ گیا شیخ کا گلا آئے بھائی نے صدا تجھ کو ہر ضرب پہ دی تو نہ آیا غازی ہے جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی حق امام یا حسن یا حسین حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین بن میں جلی جس کی ابا بن میں جلی منہ پر تماچوں کے نشان مولا